Welcome to another video, guys. Today we're gonna talk about something a lot of newer players are struggling in Raid: how to build your champions. If we gotta sum up all the champions in Raid and their roles, we can oversimplify saying we have buffers, debuffers, and nukers. And in this video I'm gonna show you how you can be building any of those champions depending on what you need out of them. And I will also be doing a giveaway for $20 for something from the shop, as well as 1 hour account takeover with me live on stream. So if you want to join the giveaway for a chance to win $20 and 1 hour with me, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment what your favorite champion in Raid is right now. I will draw the winner as soon as we reach 400 subscribers on the channel. Good luck to everybody. Also, don't forget you can start Raid the right way by downloading the game from my download link in the description or the QR code on screen, and you're gonna get your hands on the amazing legendary champion Corrado, as well as the top tier epic Ugo as soon as you hit level 15. And you also have plenty of options of what promo code to use in your first 24 hours, and my personal favorite would be Sun Wukong with the promo code Monkey King, but you can also definitely go for Supreme Galek, who's a Void legendary, with the code Supreme6. The choice is yours. Now, let's get into it. I'll also be opening some Void Shards at the end of this video. This offer right here sparks joy for me. I think I'm gonna grab one of these, because we still have some 2x on the Void Shards for the next 24 hours, so I'm definitely willing to give one last shot at opening another Void Legendary. So yeah, here's the good luck. Hope we get some good luck today indeed. But yeah, first things first, let's talk about the champions, and maybe I'm even gonna show you how you can build a champion at the end of this video on a newer player's account, so you have a better understanding of what you should be doing. Like I said, we have buffers, debuffers, and nukers in the game as a broad generalization, and with buffers, we can call anything that gives your champions a buff, turn meter boost, heal, revive, and even cleanse a buffer. And what do all of those champions have in common that want to be doing all of those things? They really need speed. Here's a great example of a buffer champion, Arbiter. She has turn meter boost, increase attack as a buff, she revives, she heals, and heck, she even does have some debuffer options, but still, she is kind of a complex champion, basically all in one package, both buffer, debuffer, and reviver. And what do you want on a champion like this? Definitely you want her to be as fast as possible. Other stats you might be looking for here would be, you can't go wrong with giving her a little bit of survivability, with HP percent, with defense percent, that kind of stuff. Attack is also not gonna be horrible to get on her, because her skills do scale off attack, but you're obviously not gonna be looking for attack, crit damage, or crit rate on champions like this, not unless you already have covered every other base. If you're really late game and you're talking about PvE maxing damage on things like Hydra, Chimera, then you could even look for crit rate, crit damage even on your support champions with buffs, debuffs, that kind of stuff. But for earlier game players, obviously you cannot be spreading yourself too thin looking for everything. You gotta be concentrating on the speed, the accuracy in this case, because she's also having some debuffs. On her A1 she can land weaken, and on the A2 she can also remove buffs, decreasing duration of enemy buffs like that. And for both of those you will need some accuracy as well. But in general, for your buffers, the most important thing would be indeed the speed, so that's what you're going to be looking for on your boots. And that's what you're going to be looking for all of your other items. Basically, you want to be rolling a few times speed on everything as much as you can. I know for earlier players that's a lot easier said than done, but with time passing, you will manage to find yourself a bit bigger, better gear. It's just going to take a while. The sets you need to be looking for champions like these would be things like the speed set would be an amazing option. It's only a 2-set piece, so just a couple of these will get you the plus 12% speed, which is definitely no joke. For newer players, things like the accuracy set would also be worth it, even though right now we are talking about buffers, so in the general sense, you're not really going to be looking for accuracy. It's more like this is more for the debuffers than anything else. It's not going to be a bad idea giving your buffers things like extra turn from Relentless, or reduce the skill cooldown with the reflex set, that kind of stuff. Things like the Immortal set might also make sense for some more early game progression kind of stuff, but it's not really something you should be looking for too much. We also have other sets like Divine Speed. That's basically the speed set with a little bit of extra. It's not that amazing, the HP self-shield, but it's still something, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Perception would be an amazing set for Arbiter, especially in the early months of newer players, because it's giving you basically everything you could be asking for with accuracy, with speed. And some champions like this even could be built with later game sets like Pinpoint if you manage to get your hands on that one. Nowadays with the Rebirth potentially. A few pieces of Feral here and there might be interesting as well, and Supersonic can also make sense on some buffers, but it is a little bit of a later game set. No need to make things too complicated for you just yet. So you get it. Like I said, buffers can also be cleansers, so the main purpose of a cleanse champion would be to actually remove the crowd control your other champions would be getting, and in order for you to be able to remove those debuffs, well, you need to actually not get debuffs yourself. So in that case, high resistance would also be important, and depending on what boss you're fighting and what level of it you're fighting, that's gonna change the amount of resistance or accuracy you're gonna be needing to be buffing or not getting debuffed. And a great place to actually find what those thresholds will be would be on the Hell Hades website, and you can go over to the Raid Shadow Legends tools and go ahead and check Raid Stages tools. And for instance, let's say Clan Boss is something a lot of newer players will be interested in. Let's say Brutal is a nice little stepping stone for most. And here you can see that the Clan Boss has 100 resistance on the Brutal, so this means you will need 125 accuracy to actually land your debuffs on it. And as for how much resistance you need against the Clan Boss has 75 accuracy, so you will need 180 resistance to actually resist those debuffs. And you can be using this on all sorts of other different places. You could check what the Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss requires. Here he has 225 resistance, so you need 250 accuracy, definitely not that big a deal. As for the Clan Boss's accuracy, he has 225 again, so you will need 330 resistance to be able to resist the stunt he can land. You can be doing this on all sorts of other places. You could go to dungeons, maybe go for Dragon, for instance. That's a nice little early game friendly place to be farming. And what do you need for stage 20 in here? It even calculates what the wave content is going to be looking like for you, but the most important thing is what the dragon at the end will require. And on resistance, you're going to need 225 accuracy to land your debuffs and 305 resistance to actually resist the debuffs the dragon could be landing. So definitely don't sleep on the Hell Hades website. It's a very nice place to be getting a lot of extra information for, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit more at the end. Moving down to debuffers, here Lydia would be a pretty good example because she is a champion everybody is gonna get eventually. It's not an easy champion to get eventually, but still it's something you will be able to farm after a year. And she is a very good example of a great debuffer. She also does some buffs on her, obviously. Not many champions are super straightforward, just one thing or the other. So they do definitely intertwine, but the main reason why Lydia is such an amazing champion is because she brings two of the strongest debuffs in the game, both the decreased defense and the weaken in the same skill. And not only that, but she also brings two of the strongest buffs in the game, again on that same skill, strengthen and increase speed. I might actually give you a dedicated video about all of these buffs and debuffs really soon, because that is another thing that a lot of newer players don't really realize how important it is when they're first starting off. But yeah, Lydia is an amazing debuffer champion. She also has poison sensitivity, block buffs, block active skills, which could be super important in some PvE types of content. It could be decent in PvP even, in the earlier stages at least. And she even places Fear on her A1, which is also no joke. All of these things will require accuracy on her, and that is actually the most important stat debuffer champions would like to be having. So as you can see, mine doesn't have too much accuracy, but she definitely has enough for what I'm using her for Chimera, for Hydra, that kind of stuff. She suffices quite well. And again, also debuffers require a good amount of speed, a very good amount of accuracy, and they also would like to be living long enough to be doing all of those things. So again, can't go too wrong with some HP percent, some defense percent, that kind of stuff. Amazing newer player sets for something like Lydia would be the speed set, the accuracy set, the perception set would be absolutely MVP, and that is why it's so important to be farming faction wars, to be getting all sorts of different perception pieces. And once you go later into the game, you could even start thinking about the protection set would be an amazing option. As you see, I have mine built in 9-piece protection, but also the feral set might also be super amazing for her, because if you read what the feral set does, if you are lucky enough to actually have 9-piece feral, allies will deal 5 more damage per each debuff placed by the wearer. And as we saw, she is a very nice debuffer, placing 2 debuffs on the A2, another debuff on the A1, and 3 more debuffs on a single target on the A3. So would be an amazing extra damage dealer like that with the Pharaoh set. Other good example of debuffers would be champions that, let's say, land provoke, champions that land other types of crowd control like freezes, decrease speed, stun, that kind of stuff, but we are lumping them all together as debuffers. So the main stats, again, repeating one more time, you're gonna be looking for speed, accuracy, and a little bit of survivability. Again, if you're super late game, you could even be looking for crit rate, crit damage to really squeeze everything you could out of those champions, but for the earlier players, you gotta be concentrating mainly on those stats. And lastly, we have nukers. Here, I guess I could show my 4, which was a champion a lot of people actually got not too long ago. Alice is also not a bad champion to show here. I actually stole her accessories or whatnot, so there's that. So yeah, let's concentrate on 4. Here I have mine in a hybrid build that works very well both on Arena, PvP, and in PvE Hydra, let's say. Obviously, it would be ideal if I concentrate either on one or the other. Right now, it's more concentrating on PvP with the stone skins so he doesn't get crowd control and stuff like that. But he also has 4-piece lethal, which is an amazing set for nukers. So yeah, what do you want out of nukers? Well, you want them to be nuking. So they need to have 100% crit rate, no questions asked, unless you have to ask questions for situations where the champion actually does have some added intricacy to their skills. For instance, Whisper is such a champion, she does not need 100% crit rate because she does give herself increased crit rate anyway, so she doesn't really need to get crit capped at 100, 70 will do. And there's also other champions like that here and there, but not very often. So generally, you want to be able to always have crit rate to the max on your damage dealing nukers. The other important thing they're gonna need is obviously crit damage as well. The bigger the crit damage, the bigger the crits are gonna be, so obviously super important. And the third most important thing for that champion would be their multiplier, be it either attack, health, or defense. Right now, 4 is an attack-based champion, and we can check his skills and see all of his skills actually scale off attack. Both the A1, the A2, the A3 all scale off attack, so the higher the attack this champion has, the better he's gonna be smacking people's faces in. But this is not a one-size-fits-all. For instance, we can show somebody like Marius, another free champion everybody is gonna get eventually. Marius is a defense-based nuker, so all of his skills actually based off of defense. This one also bases off enemy max HP and defense still. So in this case, for Marius, attack does literally nothing. Zilch. Nada. Not a single thing. You might want to check out my detailed video about stat explanation from not too long ago. There I really go into detail what the different stats do. So definitely don't get baited into building nukers the same way with a bunch of attack and stuff like that. That is not how the game works. And I guess another example for a nuker would be Magnar. Don't look at my build, it's a very old one. Haven't really shown this guy love for quite a while, but he is indeed an HP-based nuker. And we can check his skills, and they do indeed scale off of HP, both on the A1, on the A2, on the A3, so he does not need attack. Again, that's gonna do absolutely nothing for him. All he needs is HP for the multipliers to really go high. And again, as you see, he's crit capped at 100. He has a lot of crit damage, that kind of stuff. Moving back to 4, amazing sets for nukers would be things that actually ignore defense. Lethal is an amazing set, which is farmable from the Doom Tower. That's why it's so important to actually always try and beat the highest stage of Dark Fae when it's in rotation on the Doom Tower. Because ignoring 25% of the enemy defense is just absolutely massive. However, the best set for your nukers usually would be nice 9-piece Merciless. As you see, that is easier said than done. My Marius does not have 9-piece, because the accessories are kind of hard to get. But here's the reason why Merciless is so good. It still gives 35% ignore defense, which is absolutely massive, but it also gives 30% chance to decrease a random skill's cooldown, which would be huge. And if you get lucky enough to actually have 9 pieces of it, you also have 15% chance of getting an extra turn. So no wonder this set is so massive on nukers, it's just that good. Other good sets you could be using on your nukers would be Slayer, but since this is a newer player-friendly guide, let's concentrate on something a bit more obtainable. If you're just starting off, obviously something like the offense set is not going to be horrible. The crit rate, crit damage sets are also not going to be that bad. Speed set will still be fine, like speed is important even on nukers. You don't want nukers to be fast, but you still don't want them to be super slow. I guess now is as good a time as any for me to explain that you actually, when you're building your team, you want your buffers and debuffers to be acting first and your nukers to be acting last. The reason for that is you want the buffs to land first, like increase attack, increase crit rate, crit damage, that kind of stuff, increase turn meter. After that, your debuffers land decrease defense, decrease speed, weaken, that kind of stuff. And after that, the nukers waltz in with their big boy damage and just take the show, smack everybody down. So even though they need to be the slowest in your team, you still don't want them too slow. So speed is still something you should be looking for even on your nukers here and there. Things like crit rate, crit damage are also fine on the nukers, accuracy if they need it. Some nukers still do like to be landing some kind of debuffs, but don't go too far out of your way building too much accuracy on your nuker champions. And at the end of the day, that's not what they're in your team for. They are trying to do the big boy damage. And the not so hard farmable sets you could be equipping your nuker champions here would be something like the Relentless set would not be horrible. It's not the best for dealing massive tons of damage, but still getting extra turns on those nukers is going to help them cycle through their skills faster, so that's not the worst thing in the world. Savage would be an amazing set because it does indeed ignore 25% defense. But as you notice, Savage is just a worse lethal set because this only gives the 25% ignore defense, where lethal also gives you 10% crit rate, which is absolutely massive. Reflex set also might be worth considering on some nukers, and also the Cruel set would be amazing on attack-based nukers because as you see, it gives plus 15% attack, as well as 5% ignore defense. It's not the most amazing ignore defense set, but it's definitely something you can slap a couple of pieces on a champion which you already equipped with, let's say, 4 pieces lethal or 4 pieces savage, that kind of stuff, so don't sleep on that set as well. So yeah, the most important things you're going to be looking on your nukers would be 100% crit rate, a good amount of crit damage, above 200 preferably, heck, even above 300 if you can afford it, but as you see, even I don't have above 300 on some of my nukers. A good amount of their main stat, for Marius that'd be defense, for Thor that's going to be attack, for Magnar that's going to be HP, and a decent amount of speed as well. Those would be the most important things you're going to be looking for. Now let me go ahead and show you a good example of how you should be building out a new champion for you. What I used to do, and honestly still do from time to time, when I'm trying to build a new champion is I go on the internet and just try and find a good build. For now, we're going to be building Fane, so we can again go ahead and check out what Hell Hades says for this champion, what it should be built like. And here at the bottom, we can see what are the recommended sets, both for PvE and for PvP. As you see, Fane is not a PvP champion, so instead we're going to be building her in PvE type of stuff. And here the recommended sets would be lifesteal, speed, accuracy, and perception. Not the worst idea in the world for newer players, especially. If you're late game, you're gonna probably want to build her in something a bit more merciless and that kind of stuff, lethally, savagey, around those lines. But for newer players, this is definitely gonna suffice. If you really want to get into some deep understanding how you want to be building the specific champions, just try and find yourself a new guide for that champion, preferably from the last year at least, because new sets always come into the game, that kind of stuff. You want to be at the top of your game when you're trying to build newer champions that way. So yeah, watching a video guide or two for those on YouTube will help you big time. Plenty of creators are doing a bang-up job with those, so don't sleep on them if you really want to get the most out of your champion. As you see, we're looking for accuracy, speed, HP, crit rate, crit damage, and defense on Fane. And the best thing you could be starting off with when building a champion would be to look for speed boots. This goes double for newer players. It's really not even gonna matter what set those speed boots are gonna be from, as long as they're speed boots with at least 5-star or preferably 6. Let's see if we have 6-star speed on this account. We do. And yeah, it's not even gonna matter what the set is gonna be. I did notice this dude does have a offense speed boot, so it might not be the worst idea in the world. It also has crit damage, and attack, and heck, even a little bit of HP never hurt nobody. Thane is known to be an absolute glass cannon. And here's what you can do. You can actually go to the fitting room so you don't accidentally make some kind of mistake. Slap this boot on. Boots always are worth it leveling up all the way to 16 because they give so much speed and everything else. But for now, I'm just going to level it up to 12. That's still going to give us a good example of how much we're going to be getting out of the boot. And it's no rocket science to just add 14 more speed so we know how much speed this champion is actually going to have in the end of the day. The other most important thing, especially for newer players, would be to get the crit rate up to 100%, and the best way to do that would be with crit rate gauntlets. Again, you might want to check out my detailed video about what you could be expecting out of the different items and what they could be rolling, and the only item that can roll a main stat crit rate would be the gauntlets. If you're late game, you would be looking for crit damage on the gauntlets instead. That would be usually better, but for earlier players, crit rate on the gauntlets is probably going to be best because it's really going to be hard for you to get 100% crit rate without the gauntlets. Well, we have not an amazing piece, to be absolutely honest here. It literally just has crit rate on it, but then again, Thane is not going to be the most amazing champion on this account anyway. We did get somewhat lucky, at least rolling some defense out of all of these 3 stats. It's not like defense is super amazing for this champion in particular, but it is the best stat this gauntlet did offer, so there's that. And now the third most important item for this champion would be the chest. The reason why chest is so important is because it can roll some pretty good percentages like HP, defense, in this case attack would be pretty nice if we really want to get super big damage out of this champion. But we can also be looking for straight up accuracy. As you saw, accuracy will be important for this champion, and honestly it might be the way to go right now since it's not a level 60 champion just yet. We will want to be getting accuracy from somewhere, so the chest would not be a bad idea. And I think a perception chest would be best if we gotta be honest. Sadly, we don't have an accuracy perception chest here. We could actually see what accuracy main stat chests we have on the account. I guess this speed chest is not the worst in the world right now. It's actually pretty nice. Rank 6 with crit rate on it. Flat accuracy on it, pretty worth it, so let's level that up to 12. It rolled nicely on the crit rate too, so we should have no problems getting this crit capped. As you see, the gauntlets are going to be giving us 17 more percent. Also from the masteries, we're going to get 5. So we only need 11 more crit rate out of the top row, basically, so that should be pretty easy. And right now, it would be a good idea for me to try and get a second speed item so we can get the plus 12% speed for sure. On the substats, we could be looking for items with crit damage, with speed preferably, that kind of stuff. And we can remove the chest at this point. We can actually just select the last 3 items we need. Here we can see a pretty good shield actually, but then again the weapon is also nice. Let's see which one rolls better for us. Double speed on that, crit rate as well as the substats sounds pretty nice for now. I'm gonna slap that. And let's calculate what stats are we gonna be getting after we get all of these up to 16. We can expect 34 more accuracy on the chest, so that's gonna bring us up nice and close to the usable stats we will need for some clan bosses with above 200 accuracy. And let's not forget banners and amulets are gonna increase accuracy quite well as well, so there's that. But it would be best if we finish this champion off with a little bit of perception gear, let's say. This one gives a good amount of crit rate. Yeah, I think this shield is kind of okay. It's not perfect, obviously. Nothing can be too perfect here, but we did actually roll accuracy on the item, so let's just pin this as well. And let's just finish off with a little bit of crit damage on the helmet. Again, would have been perfect if it had a little bit of speed on it as well, but good enough. And here we have it. As soon as this item goes up to 16, we are going to have a lot more than 100 crit rate. Actually, we can do a bit better with this champion if we really want to min-max. We did go overboard on the crit rate, but better to have more crit rate than to not. The crit damage is definitely absolutely dog water if we gotta be completely honest, but this is somewhat of the logic when building champions you should be following. Obviously it's not built perfectly, it's also not up to 16 yet, so there's that, but it still gives you some kind of an idea what you should be doing when you're building champions like this. For the ring, it would be best if we find ourselves an attack ring with attack percentage under. Let's see if we possess such a ring on the account. Not really. Yeah, here's one. This one does have the potential to roll pretty well. And it did, twice on the attack percent. Can't say no to that. We're gonna slap that in. And lastly, we are gonna be adding a crit damage on the amulet. This would be a pretty nice crit damage amulet for this champion. As soon as it gets ranked up to 5, as soon as it gets ascended, we can slap this, and we even rolled accuracy here. So that would be massive. That's going to give us 33 more crit damage as soon as this guy is ready to equip this. And for banner, again, if we still need more accuracy, we could be looking for an accuracy banner. Sadly, we don't possess such. It would be best if it's either attack banner with speed on it or accuracy banner with speed and attack on it, that kind of stuff. Right now we don't have the perfect banner for this champion, so there's that. I'm just gonna equip all of these items for this champion. They are pretty decent as is, and now the champion is pretty usable for this account. And it would be a lot better as soon as this champion goes up to 60, with all of the items going up to 16 as well. Now let's go back to my account and finish off with a little bit of Void Shard summoning. Ain't nothing wrong with that. This video is already pretty long, so let's not dilly-dally too much with it. There's no more Chalco on the 10x here, but we still have 1% chance for a legendary, so let's hope we strike some lightning. Okay, let's do a 10 pull and decide if we need to be pulling too much more for this current champion chase. Boom. Legend me, baby. Okay, Epic Golden Reaper, it's something. Alas, nothing to write home about yet again. Let me see what we're looking at like on the champion chase. Not too amazing. I guess I could get myself a 5-star chicken, ain't nothing wrong with that. All it takes is 6 more rares out of the void, so let's just open a few more one by one. If we get lucky, we do. If we don't, it is what it is. One epic and we could call it a day, honestly. Confessa. There we go. Epic it is, and it's another Eurogrim. Not the worst champion in the game, I can tell you that much. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. It definitely turned out quite the long one, but I really hope this helps you better understand what you should be doing on your champions. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment what's your favorite champion in the game right now if you want to enter for the $20 giveaway, item from the shop, and 1-hour account takeover with me. And don't forget you can start raid the right way by downloading it from my download link or the QR code on screen. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.